or Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and TrentoVision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Okay, we're back on a fabulous, absolutely fabulous Friday afternoon, the 1st of February, 2013. And the last day of our Mozart contest. CJ, get us up to date real quickly on that. You don't have a microphone, so that's okay. I'll get you up to date on that. No, here it's going over to CJ. Let her get us up to date on the oh, it doesn't matter. Just walk over there. Our studio looks like our apartment when we travel on the road to go infiltrate the Islamic stuff. But
yeah, it looks like a frat house in
here. It does. It really does. With two ladies.
It makes me feel right at home.
With two ladies.
Frat house with two ladies.
My frat
That's
house.
right. We have two den mothers in the studio today.
No.
Yeah, you guys are in trouble.
Okay.
All right. So our Mozart contest. All right. You have just a few more hours.
Yeah. No, we should do it at the end of the show, 6 o'clock.
What's that?
End of the show.
End of the show?
Yeah, you're too lace, I think.
You think so?
Get the
because
things
people
in,
are
6
in their
o'clock.
cars right now.
Okay, well, pick
They're
a time.
on their way home.
Pick a
They're
time.
listening to you on the radio.
Okay, pick a time.
And they want to go home and get on the computer and send their submission for the
Put
Mozart
up,
Great Idea Cartoon Contest
show-
to Tom at TrentoVision.tv.
Okay.
And send us your idea of a current event or a topic that you would like to see editorialized in cartoon form to Tom at TrentoVision.tv. And our resident cartoonist editorialist, Mort Cuff, will custom design a cartoon for you, sign it, and you can frame it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And it looks like we're going to have more people who may, not this month's contest, but next month's contest, we're going to have more people who may submit their drawings. Now, don't put any up yet. Because right now, what are you telling me, Mark?
We are live on the TeaPartyCommunity.com website.
Oh.
Yay.
Wow.
Which is exploding.
Somebody ought to tune in there, see what it looks like. We have our pre-launch dress rehearsal tea party hour right now, but at 6:01 we're going to knock down some spirits, I think, and in a nice way. And plan for tomorrow. I'm Tom Trento, and with me is CJ, Mike, Mark, our crew here. Kenny's in the engineering booth, but our two special guests, are they on camera here? Yeah. Let's see. Are you up, Jan? Are you looking at the thing there?
I'm here, yes.
Our two special guests, camera right there, is Jan Morgan, well known by all of you internet guys and gals, and Ken Crow on the left. So let's have the lady introduce herself first. What? Is Wild Bill on the line?
Wild Bill, yes.
He's like gum on the bottom of your shoe. We can't get rid of this guy. Bill, are you there, Bill?
Be nice to the Patriots.
Are you there, Bill?
Hello, Tom. This is Bill.
How you doing, man? How are you?
Oh, doing good. Yeah, I don't have much time. I'm invited to a dinner at the local Messianic Jewish congregation, but I couldn't go without saying hi to Jan. I don't get to talk to her very much.
Hey, Wild Bill, I just posted your latest article on my website today. Lynching rifles, I believe, black rifles. That's your latest YouTube video. Just posted it today. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you. I was hoping you'd like that one.
Oh, it made me laugh.
We just went over that whole thing in the last hour. And hey, Bill, have you formally met Ken Crow?
No, I have not met Ken yet.
Hello, Bill. I know you're a national treasure, and it's an honor to meet you, sir.
Well, I look forward to shaking your hand and drinking a cup of coffee with you one of these days. I should be down in Florida before too long.
I won't be there. I don't get to stay. They're evicting me.
These guys traveled from Fern States. They traveled from Fern States. Came all the way down here.
I got to tell you, though, it's a lot nicer here, Bill. I called the house last night. My wife said it was -4 with about 10 inches on the ground there.
Boy, that's nuts.
Of global warming. We have 10 inches of Al Gore's global warming. And it was blowing.
Well, we need to blame it on Al Jazeera now. Al Gore's washed his hands of it.
Hey, Bill, we've done a lot of work on that, and we've coined a new phrase, Al Gorezeera. Al Gorezeera.
I like that. That's good. That's really good.
It's Al Gorezeera. So, all right, we're going to let you go, Wild Bill for America. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get in touch with Bill, wildbillforamerica.com. He is an American treasure.
He is.
And he served our country well as a U.S. law enforcement officer. And kicking liberal butt physically. Now he does it videography.
By video.
Yeah. Hey, do good tonight, and we will see you Skyped in tomorrow on our special show, 5 to 7, TrentoVision.tv, and on the TeaPartyCommunity.com. Because, Mark, are we live and in action there? Not quite. Doesn't look like it down there yet. We're working on it. All right, good. Bill, take care.
Okay, good night, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow, and God bless America again.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, folks, it's 11 minutes past 5 o'clock on TrentoVision.tv. That's if you're watching this simulcast. If you're driving in your automobile anywhere from Miami all the way up to Orlando, you're listening and you go, what the heck is all this about? Well, this is the kind of stuff that cleanses your brain from listening to the mainstream media, where they are simply puppet masters. The president is the puppet master directing the mainstream media to simply implement a socialistic agenda. No big deal.
It's no longer called mainstream media. It's called state-run media.
Yes. We've been teaching communism in here for the past 2 days. That's a perfect cap to. Yeah. This stuff is amazing. But good point, Jan. And what we're doing right now, we have two special guests, Jan Morgan and Ken Crow. Jan, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and why you are here.
I am here because I want to restore my country to the constitutional republic that it was meant to be. I'm here to try to rally up the troops, the good Americans who have kind of lost their way, the Americans who have been busy going about living the American dream.
Gotta leave that on.
Have not really been in touch with what's going on in our country, and I think we're trying to wake them up so that they can help us fight the good fight and return America back to what she was meant to be.
And tell us a little bit about your background.
What I do, I started getting involved with social media, Facebook, when I heard Barack Obama make his first appearance at the Democratic National Convention years ago, because I was walking through the living room. Yes.
We don't say Democratic.
Democrat.
We say Democrat.
Democrat.
Okay.
The Democrat National Convention. I was passing through the living room with a load of laundry in my hands, and I saw him on television for the first time, and I dropped the basket of laundry.
2004 back then?
Yes, that day. And I said,
when
oh
he
my
stunned
goodness.
the world?
And I turned to the person in the living room with me, and I said, this man is going to be the first black president of the United States. The color of his skin was not what bothered me. It was, who is this person? I've never heard of him, but I could tell by the reception he was getting that he was going to be something else. And then I started doing my homework and discovering who he really was based on his history. And I realized that Americans, by and large, would not know who he was. So I started doing social media posts about Barack Obama. And then, of course, I got into the Islamization of our country and just kind of exploded from there. Just like the Tea Party Community network is now exploding. And we're so excited about that. It's happened so quickly. But I think people are hungry for, we were talking about the mainstream media, and people are waking up to the fact that they're not getting the news of what's really going on in this country and the world. We're getting spoon-fed what the White House wants us to hear. And so they're turning to the internet. They're turning to media blogs and looking for truth, and I think they have discovered that the real truth is out there, and it's going to be in places like the Tea Party Community, places like your site, my site. Todd Starnes is out there doing his part. There are some great media people out there, but we're all spread out, and I think that we have found our niche, and people are turning to us for the truth.
Beautiful. Okay, as an introduction, Ken, tell us about you, obviously, and then tell us about the Tea Party Community. Who started it, who founded it, how it got going, all of that.
Well, next time I want to go before Miss Morgan. How do you top this? I mean, this is fabulous. Well, I got started in the Tea Party movement about 3.5 years. It was just shortly after Obama's first inauguration, and we got buried pretty badly economically in Arizona in the RV industry when commercial banking crashed. And I was so upset and so angry. Then I heard our friend at the Chicago Board of Trade give the big speech. Yeah. And my family said, "You've got to get out of the house. We're tired of you stomping around the house. You've got to go do something." And that's when I got involved and met a lot of wonderful people and great people. And then I met my partner in this venture, Mr. Tim Saletti Sr. and Jr. and Michelle and the gang. And they're just fabulous, fabulous people. And then I had the honor today of getting to meet the great Jan Morgan and yourself. And there's just tremendous people. I don't know how to describe the depth of love that these people have for our nation.
That's right.
And it's the same passion that I have. And we're all so upset, and we know so many things are desperately wrong. And it's time to bring everyone together and get us on the same page so that we can stop this tyranny and stop what's happening to our nation and turn it around. And that's why we're doing what we're doing at the Tea Party Community.
Okay, well, this is going to be great. We have a little bit of time with you guys today, and we have
Fabulous.
a couple of hours tomorrow, so we'll cover this extremely well. But
Good.
Did you say that you were one of the founders of the Tea Party Community?
Yes, with Mr. Tim Saletti Sr. and Jr. and his lovely wife, Michelle, and we're all jumped in this big pot, and we have you involved, and we are thrilled to have you on board. We're thrilled to have Jan Morgan and her great team on board and her hundreds of thousands of patriotic followers. And I hear we have some chicks on the right that have joined us, which is great. And just literally, I hear our numbers jumped over. I hear somebody said a few minutes ago we jumped over 100,000 today. And it's incredible. And we haven't done any national press releases yet. We did one little interview with a great patriot named Todd Starnes, and that's been it. The rest of it's word of mouth. And
but you're going to be
thrilled.
somewhere tomorrow. Let's get that out for the people who are listening and watching right now. Where are you going to be tomorrow morning, Ken?
Well, rumor has it I'm getting interviewed by Mr. Clayton Morris on Fox and Friends at 6:20 Eastern. And Miss Morgan has promised to try to make me look human in the morning. Okay. So I'm thrilled about that, but we'll be on Fox and Friends at 6:20.
6:20 tomorrow morning you can catch on Fox and Friends. To 6:20 Eastern. That's not, we get up early around here in Florida. Sunrise
on a Saturday morning.
Saturday. Oh, that's right. It's Saturday. We lose track of the days though here and fighting this battle. All right, we got a lot to do. Did you say we have somebody on the line? We'll take a couple calls maybe, but we'll see. Who do we have?
We have Liberal Barry.
Liberal Barry. Oh, from I think he calls Steve Kane's show.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll bring him on.
Yeah. Well, no, we have our own Liberal Bob.
Okay, we have our own liberal.
Now we have a Liberal Barry.
We got
so we already have one LB. We can't.
He's
have
got.
two.
He's a brave guy coming on this show. Hi, Liberal Barry. This is Tom. How could we help you? You're with Ken and Jan and everybody else.
You guys got me on. I don't think you hit the right button.
You what?
You got me?
Yes, we have you. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first time I've ever heard your show, so I wanted to say welcome. Radio.
Do you run the radio? What do you run the radio in South Florida, or what do you? How are you welcoming me?
No. I just said welcome to being on the radio.
He's being polite.
Okay, why'd you wait so long? I've been doing this for a long time.
Well, I've never heard you before, so I've been.
Okay. Okay. Well, now we're old friends. How can we help you?
I just wanted to correct some inaccuracies.
Oh,
here we go.
The first inaccuracy I'd like to correct is that your friend up there in the Port St. Lucie area who ran for Congress did go to court and lost. He got thrown out twice, as a matter of fact, on his re-election. So he wasn't taking any high road. Alan West, he went to court and he lost. So that's a correction. And also,
wait, hang on, one at a time. Hang on.
Okay.
Did he have any more judicial opportunities and avenues to explore, or were they all exhausted?
As I recall.
Oh, as you recall.
And I could be wrong on this. I don't know if he went to one level of court or two level of court, but I believe it was two.
It wasn't my question. Liberal Barry, it wasn't my question. Did he have any other judicial avenues to explore?
Not after his appeal was turned down, no. Once the federal court, I'm sure he could appeal higher. But
so he did have judicial avenues to pursue. He chose not to. So your correction on the first point is actually wrong, but continue for the second point. Maybe you get lucky on the second point.
Wait a minute. I mean, for clarity purposes. So what you're saying is the fact that he never went to court, he took the high road, was accurate? Is that what you said?
Absolutely. He had more avenues of judicial avenues to exhaust. He chose not to at a certain point. We were involved. We were involved with the thing. But let's move on to the next misstatement on your part.
Secondly, not a misstatement. I heard you talking about Chicago and it being such a crappy place, and there's everybody's own welfare, and all these places are always run by Democrats. But that's factually inaccurate, too. When it comes to welfare states, the greatest welfare states in the United States are the red Bible Belt states. And the big liberal states, like Chicago, like New Jersey, like California, are creditor states. For every dollar they send to the federal government, they may get 60 cents back. States like, Kentucky and Louisiana and these other Bible Belt right-wing states get $1.50 or $2 back.
I think he thinks it's his own talk show. He
This is he does these things. Okay, so
I know you guys don't like facts, but facts are
facts. Barry, this is Ken Crow. I'd like to address something you just said, my friend, and it's an honor to speak to you. I want you to take a look. Let's hang on. Take a breath now, Barry. Let's take a look at Chicago. Let's take a look at Detroit. Let's take a look at Los Angeles. Let's take a look at the state of California, for that matter. And while we're throwing in California, let's look at New York. Let's look at the state of Michigan. What is the commonality in all these elements? The commonality is Democrats have run these states and our state houses for some 30 and in some cases 50 years. Everyone is bankrupt. Every one of them has the highest unemployment rates in America.
And the most strict gun control laws and the highest crime rates.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you for throwing that in. So, Barry, tell me again why we need to be run by these people. Our country...
I'll be glad to. Take a breath, and I'll be glad to.
Absolutely.
All right, Barry, I'm going to let you go on for another minute, and then we got to move on with the show. But go ahead. You can have the last word here.
First of all, the state of California is the 5th largest economy in the world.
And it's broke.
Right.
It's run by Democrats. It's been run by Democrats forever, and it has one of the highest standards of living in the United States for its citizens.
It does?
He hasn't been there lately, but go ahead. All right, you got 30 seconds to make your final point.
Clearly you don't know. If you take a look at just the facts, the Bible Belt states the highest rate of abortion, the highest rate of welfare, the lowest rate of high school graduation. All of these Republican states, everything you claim that you're not, you are the takers, not the givers. We are the providers. The liberals.
All right, let's do this. Barry, let's do this. We have a special hour right now to introduce these guys. We're on every day, 3 to 6. Now you found us. Feel free to call in whenever you want, and we'll discuss all of these issues point by point. But I do thank you for calling in. We got to let you go right now because we want to get back to our special guests here.
I will be here, and everything I said is factually correct.
Okay, yes, it is. Okay, thank you. Let's give Barry a hand.
Have a nice weekend. Thanks for calling.
But, Barry illustrates a very, very good point. The Tea Party community, the conservative community in the United States of America, and our observation, and we bring this out on this show, that conservatives think very analytically with their heads, right? And the facts drive you to a certain conclusion. Typically, liberals think with their hearts. They think differently, and the facts
and their arguments are based on emotion and passion,
and talking points. Then,
and ideology.
As soon as you exhaust the talking points, then they start calling you names,
right?
And all
because
this
they
stuff.
Can't refute the facts.
Exactly. Now this guy calls another show, and he throws out all kinds of facts, and he's one of the ones that are like a greased pig, where you have to kind of grab him and say, "Let's take a look specifically at what you're saying at this place."
Each point.
How do you guys manage? And let's go first with you.
Sure.
How do you manage to have an intelligent discussion with somebody on the left? Do you have any family members that may be on the left?
I do have some family members that are in the middle.
How about friends?
It's an interesting Thanksgiving time at our place.
Why are we eating a turkey? What about PETA? We don't want to kill birds and eat them.
Yeah, and we don't kill animals. We just they're at Safeway. You don't need to kill them there.
That's right.
So anyway, like Jan and you just mentioned a minute ago, facts are, John Adams said, facts are stubborn things, and they are. And what I try to do is tone down the rhetoric. Even though I feel very passionate about a topic, I try to put myself in the liberal shoe. Why do they feel this way? And then I'll try to sort of back it out from there. And I try to calm the conversation down and present facts to them.
If you noticed, excuse me one second, if you noticed, he was doing that with Liberal Barry.
Yes, he was.
He said, just calm down, let's talk about this. Took control of the conversation and then started laying stuff out that was very well done. How do you've been in the media, you've been on television, all of that. How do you deal with these people? How do you deal
I will engage
without weapons.
No,
how do you deal with these people?
No, see, why did you never did take a close up of my pen.
No, we
today.
are going to do it though.
I will engage with someone on the opposite side as long as they will maintain a certain level of intellectual discourse. If you can discuss civilly the facts of a situation, but when it starts getting emotional and they start name calling, which is what happens on my Facebook walls often. Liberals can come on my walls, but invariably they cannot. When you start putting the facts out there, they get frustrated and they start name calling and screaming and yelling and everything gets out of hand. And so I just block them because I feel like at that stage that trying to engage in a conversation and explain logic to a human being who renounces all reason is like trying to administer medicine to a dead person. It makes as much sense. I mean, you can't. It's useless.
Are you zooming in? Yeah, zoom in, Mark.
Zooming in on your breast, Jan.
No,
hold that like that.
Bob made this for me, and not this Bob, but another Bob, and it says, "My AR-15 is not an assault rifle unless you try to take it from me." I had that made for a recent gun show.
There we are. Hold it like that.
Walking around the gun show, yes.
There it is.
I love it.
Yes, love it too. But I got really upset because suddenly the AR-15 is, just because of the way it looks.
Everybody's going nuts.
Our friends, our anti-gun people just have determined they're weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, exactly. But you just raised a very, very good point. I'm going to open it up for anybody in here that wants to ask a couple of questions. I got a couple of places I want to bring you guys.
Okay.
The liberal gets exhausted, and if it's your wall, you say goodbye right away. And if they get to that point where you can't carry the conversation, you end it. How are we going to have any impact in changing public policy if we can't change public opinion with those who are our opponents? How do you move a country in any direction?
I think that there are some people that you're not going to be able to move. But there is a large population out there, Tom, and I'm convinced of this, that they're good, solid Americans, and they believe basically the same way we do. But they've been so busy going about their everyday lives and living the American dream, trying to make a living, picking up their kids at school, fixing dinner at night, putting their kids to bed. They don't have time to watch the news, decipher what's going on for themselves, and so they're just out there, and they're not aware of how many liberties are being eroded on a daily basis in this nation. So my goal is to reach those people. Those independents, those conservatives that just aren't aware. When you get to the point where you're trying to engage with people who are so extreme the other direction, who really truly want our nation to become a socialist country, you can't convince those people, and it takes time and energy, valuable time and energy away from me to engage with those people when I should be focusing on raising awareness to the people who are salvageable.
Okay, let me sketch this out in a sort of an interesting paradigm here.
I'm going to jump in just a minute on that question.
Sure. Well, hang on. I'm going to give it to you in a second. I got to sketch out at 29 minutes past 5 o'clock for our audience, the viewing audience on TrentoVision.tv and the listening audience on WNN 1470. What we're trying to figure out is if we have 10 people in this room, and 5 are on the right and 5 are on the left, and we've concluded that those on the right can't persuade those on the left to change their mind. Therefore, we can't change the majority view in terms of public opinion and move public policy. How do we move this 10-person civilization forward? Because ours just happens to be 320-something million, but it works in the micro also. How do we move 10 people forward if there's a equilibrium in a sense, 50-50, and we can't communicate? You're saying bring new people into
bring
the
those
room.
People who are bordering the fence or the people who are not aware.
Okay, so we're adding new people to the 10, And we're going to bring those on the 5 to have the dominant view move forward. How could the Tea Party community help with that process?
And that was exactly what I was going to throw in. What you have, and Jan's 100% correct, that there is this massive pool in the middle. The right is always going to think the way the right thinks. The left is always going to think the way the left thinks, the far left, okay? So your massive pool in the middle is how you win the elections. And the mistake that the Republican Party has made the last 3 presidential elections, going as far back as Dole, they've tried to appease the left. What Ronald Reagan did, and this is what, you know, famous conservative radio hosts have stressed for years, up to including yourself, is the bulk of America is actually center-right in their thinking. What is going to happen, we're going to have to reach that middle and say, guys, this is what is actually happening. And we're going to do that. And the Tea Party community is the collection pool. We're going to have to turn down the temperature just a pinch on the far right, appease the middle to bring them to the right. In other words, go after the Republican Party. I'm not saying appease them, give them what they want. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we spent 40 years getting where we're at today. It's not going to turn around overnight.
No, this is a long game for sure.
This is a long game, and we're going to have to take the Republican Party, move them back to the right, because this pendulum has been swinging now for decades to the left, and it's time to bring it back. And I honestly think it's almost reached its pinnacle point on the left, because America is now starting to wake up, and they're frightened.
Yes, they are.
America's frightened.
Well, one question is, and we're all hearing it from some sophisticated Republicans, we've got to go the other direction. We've got to broaden the tent. We've got to get rid of. I have so many Republicans telling me, get rid of this abortion thing. Just forget about that whole thing. It's killing us and all that. We got people that want to talk to their good friends
here. A couple of people online that I'll get to in 1 second, but I just want to comment to what Jan and Ken just said. I think one thing that's in our favor for this movement is the level of indoctrination that we have in our society is so pervasive that really gives us an opportunity to poke holes where people just really have never thought about it. They are taught the wrong way in school. They see everything upside down in the news. They read everything upside down in the newspapers. And so they've never been penetrated with correct thinking. And so I think there's more people than you would think out there who could be receptive.
Where the hell were they in Florida on November 6th?
Well, in our county, we did okay.
In this county,
in our county,
2 million evangelical Christians. 1 million evangelical Christians, 1 million conservative Catholics did not vote. Did not vote in Florida. We lost by 74,000
votes. But you know what else we're not doing, Tom, that I think is going to help our cause, and we've got to step up to the plate, and that is the parents who are conservative. We have got to get involved with our kids. You know, the good old days. I read an article the other day about the good old days, and the one thing that worked about the good old days is everybody sat down at the dinner table together in a family. And I know that's not always possible, but parents are pretty much leaving the education of their kids up to the schools, and they're not educating them on the moral values, on conservative values, on their kids today. You ask them, graduating from high school, what is the Bill of Rights? Name me, what are some of the amendments in the Bill of Rights? And they can't tell you. What is in the Constitution? And when we aren't teaching our kids those two vital pieces that are the very foundation of this country, how do we expect them to be sensitive to the fact that we have an administration and a federal government that is trampling on it and taking those liberties away?
Listen to this. I'm going to read from one of the teachers' unions. They're talking about the role of children in education. Education of all children from the moment they can leave their mother's care should be in national establishments at national cost, education and production together. So you don't agree with that?
It should be.
I'm sorry, excuse me. That's not the Teacher Association. That's Frederick Engels.
Engels, okay.
1847, 18 points of communism. That's the kind.
Right.
Does that sound like education of all children from the moment they leave their mother's care in national establishments and national? That's American education in the United States.
Remember Hillary Clinton's book, It Takes a Village to raise a child? No, the village is not supposed to raise your child.
Exactly.
You are supposed to raise your child and raise them with the values that they need to have to be solid Americans. And we aren't doing that. The Republicans, the independents, the conservatives of this country have been too busy being busy living the American dream, and we haven't taken the responsibility by and large of raising our kids.
What do we have? Somebody on the phone wants to talk to
First,
Ken and Jan?
We have Alex on the line.
Hey, Alex, you're with Tom, Ken, Jan, everybody else. We're pushing the clock here, so if you can ask a very quick question, I'd appreciate it.
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on. If you have a comment or a quick question, I'd appreciate it. And then we got to move on. We got other people. And was this our good friend, Alex?
Just a quick question, Tom. I did email you the other day. I don't know if you got. I just wanted to know if you're aware of the. I'm sorry if I'm off the subject today. I apologize because I couldn't listen before, but I wanted to let you know. Did you know about the? Did you see the? I'm sorry, the billboards on the highway between Atlantic and Sheridan.
No.
The white Islam.
Yes, I did see.
And Judaism and Jesus have in common.
Yeah. I did see your email, and they are popping up all over the United States. He's talking about a campaign that the Muslim Brotherhood has in the United States. All this phony baloney propaganda stuff. Yeah, we will look into that. Thank you for sending the email. Have you sent in a request for Mozart to do a cartoon sketch? Because you're a regular caller and you should definitely do that. And you only have limited time, Alex.
I will.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Thank you, Alex. Next up, we have Robert on the line.
Hi, Robert. You're with Tom, Ken, Jan, and everybody else.
Hi there. I'm calling from Bradenton, and I wonder if the three of you could explain this logic. The Department of Homeland Security recently issued a request for bids for 7,000 select fire AR-15s. In other words, full auto and semi-auto, and they're calling them personal defense weapons. And I'm wondering why the DHS full auto AR-15s are considered personal defense weapons, and all the Democrats are calling my semi-auto AR-15 an assault rifle. I'll get off the line and let the three of you discuss it. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Thank you,
Robert.
Thank
you, Robert.
I think the answer for that should go to anyone wearing an AR-15 badge, maybe.
I think, yeah. I vote the AR-15 badge.
The bottom line on that is the same regarding all issues in our federal government, and it is the government, the rules for the government are different than the rules for the people, and somehow the government has forgotten that they work for us.
That's a good answer.
Now, you just take a second to sketch out. You
Maybe they want to send them
you
to
do
Mexico.
firearms training.
Yes, I'm a certified instructor for the National Rifle Association, and just took my exam to be a state certified with Arkansas State Police firearms instructor, so I can actually give people their concealed carry permits.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Okay.
For you.
Thank you. I was the only female in the class.
Okay.
Talk about pressure.
So when we leave here, just watch my back. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Got your back.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. Somebody else?
Yep, we have Annie on the line.
Annie, hi, you're with Tom, Ken, Jan, and everyone else here. Welcome to Trento Vision. It's 39 minutes past 5 o'clock. How are you today, Ann?
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Howdy, howdy. How could we help you?
I believe it was Jan, maybe, who had said something about we really need to get the parents back involved and just really need to start back at the dinner table and all of that. And, Tom, you know, we started homeschooling our kids before the end of the school year last year. And I have actually been on a personal campaign to try to get as many people as I can to begin homeschooling. And just in the last 2 weeks alone, there are 5 families now that have joined the homeschooling bandwagon. And I'm extremely excited about that. And one of the main reasons people are doing that is obviously they're seeing what's happening with the country, but they also understand that the reason a lot of this is happening, and again, you and I have had some personal conversations on this, is there is a major spiritual void within our country, and it always begins with the individual. You guys were talking about the voters, Christian voters not showing up and things like that.
Right.
It is truly a personal responsibility, and our family has personally taken that responsibility very seriously. We try to sit down with our kids at every possible meal that we can. We've moved out to the country to try to kind of just reinstate some of those values that our founding fathers have done. And we also are holding a prayer rally down in Austin, Texas on June 22nd. And the whole purpose of this is to rally the Christian soldier, to rally the individual Christian, the Christian family, the Christian church, and our Christian leaders. That this is where we really need to get back to. I'm very, very pro-Second Amendment, pro-Constitution. But until we instill God back into our individual lives, we're pretty much screwed, and we can just say goodbye to the United States of America.
That was well said.
Ann directs our United West operation in Texas.
Good.
Her husband is a
good.
former Ranger, a retired Ranger, but now he's contracted back to the U.S. and he's in Afghanistan right now.
Can I address
so,
something?
Yeah,
she
absolutely.
said, yes, you were. It's Ann, right, or Kim?
Ann.
Ann.
Yes,
Okay. Since you're just starting this up, one of the things that, because I investigated the homeschooling situation in my home state when my daughter was about just getting ready to start school age, and one of the things that I hear a lot of people complain about that you might want to, I'm giving you this heads up, so maybe it's something you can head off before it starts, and in your arguments to try to pull people into the homeschooling network. The biggest argument against homeschooling is that these kids, while they may get a better education at home, they're not getting the socialization, the diversity in their social life, but that they would get exposed to in a public school or private Christian school. And one of the ways that the homeschooling organizations in my home state dealt with that was they organized special socialization days, several days a week. All the parents in a given community would get the kids together, and they go to the bowling alley, go to some sort of play. They would just organize recreational opportunities for those kids so that they did get the socialization with people outside of their immediate family. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there for you.
Absolutely. I have three responses to that, Jen. Number one, you have to make that decision. Do you want your kids socializing with potential terrorists and with thugs that are, getting in trouble every single day? Or would you prefer to have your children socializing with kids that are in a Christian program that are being raised by their parents and taught by their parents?
Right, which is why I said that the homeschoolers come together. All these homeschooling
right.
parents get their kids together with other homeschooled kids.
Exactly, and that's exactly what's happening all across the country. There are co-ops that are taking place where you can intermingle with other homeschooled kids. You've got church if you're involved in church, if you're doing sports. There's so many different ways.
It's a very big movement. And Ken, will the Tea Party community have sort of subgroups in it? Like if a group, a spin-off a homeschool deal or something? What's the plan for that?
Yes, we do. We have group. When you go to the website, and there's sections at the top.
Tomorrow we're going to go through the website very carefully.
Yes, and we do have groups, and we do have pages, and there is a support system for just about anything on the right you want on that website. You can blog, it's quite extensive, and you'll learn more about it tomorrow. But I encourage you to go to the website and just cruise around.
For homeschoolers.
Do what?
So I could actually start a group for homeschoolers with
yes, and we encourage it.
Yeah, this is
and
wide
that's
open.
Actually huge because there's a lot of those on Facebook, and many of them are Christian-based homeschool groups and forums. So, I mean, that's an excellent opportunity to be able to utilize the Tea Party community for that.
All right, Ann, I got to let you go. We got someone else on the line. Thank you for calling.
Thank you,
as
Ann.
always. Yes.
Thank you, Annie. Next up, we have Lewis on the line.
Lewis, you're with Tom, Jan, and Ken.
How you doing?
Good. We're doing great. We're doing great.
Hello, Lewis.
I'd like to say it's nice to put a couple of faces with a couple of people.
Oh, good.
I love the site. Absolutely love it.
Great.
My questions are, and there's two questions, is one, what gave you the idea to go ahead and start this site with Tim? And two, do you think that the site is showing some unity that you hoped that it would?
Okay, the first one, what gave me the idea to start the site with Tim? Was that your question?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tim and I have been friends for quite a while now, and we kept asking ourselves, why did we lose? Why? How did this happen? And we'd been working on it for a while, and we had been talking for quite a while, and we had decided that the Tea Parties, 912 groups, conservative groups across America, the one thing that we were lacking from being as powerful as, say, the AARP or NRA or anything, other big organizations, was, in fact, organization. And that is why we put it together, so we could bring everybody under one tent, sort out who the leaders are, sort out what we're going to war for, if you will, to borrow a euphemism, and figure out the solutions to the problems, and then attack the problem and fix it. And that's why we did it.
Pretty neat. Any other thoughts or questions, Lewis?
There was another question. What was it, Lewis?
Do you think the site is showing the unity
that
a lot of people hoped that it would?
I think it is to a degree, but we're suffering a few growing pains right now, and it's to be expected. You know, when you throw 60,000 and now 100,000 people under one roof and say, "Okay, guys, go get them," you're going to get You're going to get a few growing pains, and it's sorting itself out. We have moderators on the site 24/7. We have devoted Patriot volunteers, and we're getting there. We'll be there shortly. I wouldn't worry too much about it, Lewis. It will come along, and we'll have it sorted very, very shortly.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for the questions, and we're glad to have you, and thank you, my friend.
All right, Lewis, thank you very much. And Tom Trento here at 47 minutes past 5 o'clock. We're really running out of time here slowly, quickly, whatever. Yeah, it goes by. I mean, time flies when you're having fun, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
If you want to get in on the conversation, right now, 888-565-1470. We have two Tea Party stars with us. We have Jan Morgan, camera right. Oh, that's Ken's face there. Jan looks a little different than Ken. And Ken
Jan's
Crow.
a lot prettier than I am.
What? What?
You're
frozen on Ken.
Oh, we're frozen on Ken. Okay, I'm frozen. Oh, I'm frozen on Ken, so I can only look at Ken. I got two Kens. Double vision. Ken Crow, where are you from originally? With that
long time ago in a faraway land, Texas, but it's some kind of genetic defect down there that when you leave at 18, the accent never goes away.
Okay.
It's a curse.
Now, I don't know. You kind of strike me as a cowboy.
He is a cowboy. He's a real cowboy. Like rides the horses, ropes, the whole thing.
That's what the rumor is.
A long time ago when I was much younger. I'm the old fat gray guy now. Still wears a hat.
You jumped on bucking broncos?
When I was back in my early 20s, yes, sir. I rode mostly bulls. But that's back when I was
Brahma bulls?
150 pounds and in really good shape. That left a long time ago.
So he was in training for his political career.
I didn't have a ball. I got lucky.
Yeah, did you hear what CJ said?
What?
Yeah.
I said he was in training for his political career.
That's right. There you go.
Maybe we'll explore. You got any of those pictures?
Of what?
150 pounds
Your rodeo days.
on top of Rocky.
Yes, my wife has a few at the house, I believe.
I got to send some in, but we'll take one more call and then we'll get some closing thoughts here. Hi, Deb. You're on with Tom Trento, Jan Morgan, and Ken Crow, and the rest of the crew on Trento Vision. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and I am so glad to find you guys today. I have a question. If a lot of us feel we don't have time to wait for the next election to change things, what do we do now?
I will tell you, Deb, exactly what we're doing now, and we are going to be doing now, trust me. What we first got to do is come together, so we're going to need numbers. The only thing Washington, D.C., or your state governors or legislature understands is the fear of the voting populace. So we're going to put it all out there. We're going to put it in the wind, get as many members as we can, as fast as we can. Then for instance, the NRA, the last number I had was they had about 5 million members, give or take a little bit. And look at how powerful the NRA has been in the last many decades in America. Well, we're going to do the same thing at Tea Party Community. We're going to get the troops together, get them organized, get them amassed, and then we're going to send the appropriate people to Washington, D.C., and we're going to start leaning on legislators hard. And that's why when you go to we'll be discussing this tomorrow, so please watch tomorrow's show. But when you go to the website, you'll find on the left at the very top, it's going to say join your state hub. It's critical that you join your state hub if you live in Texas or Florida, wherever you live, because that's going to be the central organization point for everything we're doing, both at the state level and the national level. Each state will have a director, okay? And this director will be sort of the general, if you will, for that state. They're going to be in charge of the rallies, the protests, if you will, and electing the proper people. Remember, we're going to get behind candidates that you select, you the member select, and this is where it's going to start. It's not going to repair itself tomorrow or next week. We're looking at long term, you know, a year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5 down the road. But this midterm is going to be a nightmare for the Democrats and the Rhino Republicans, I promise you.
Jan, I detect it in Deb's voice. Ken dealt with the logistics, but there seems to be a psychology, kind of a defeatist sense that we're sensing all over the place. Can you speak to that for Deb, please?
About the defeatist attitude? Yeah. Yes, and I there were so many people that came on my Facebook walls after we lost this election, and they were like, it's over, we're done, we might as well just give up. And what I want to say to that is, I want you to dig deep down inside and remember our founding fathers, the spirit they had. Can you imagine what those guys went through? How at times things must have seemed so overwhelming when there was freezing cold and they were outmanned, outarmed, and everything was working against them, and yet they still fought. And my opinion is we can never give up until there's none of us standing. I mean, you just think about our founding fathers. If you need to go back and read some history and look at what those guys were up against and how they stood against all that, and they stood up for what they believed in, and you just have to keep doing that. And I want you to look for that same kind of passion that they had. Bring it up and try to spread it. Tell as many people as you can. Join the Tea Party Community Network. There are so many good Americans who are fighting, and we're excited about the fact that we know we can impact America and we can affect change, but we can't do it individually. We've got to come together. So join Tea Party Community Network and tell all your friends.
All right. Have you noticed how remarkably similar to Governor Palin she sounds?
Now that you mention that, yeah. What are you doing for the next 4 years?
Yeah, that's what I was
I'm working with the Tea Party Community Network.
Let's do this.
Tell you, the
we only got about a minute left,
here,
so we got to just...
And we are going to win. I promise you, we will win.
Thank you, Deb, for calling. Let's
Thanks,
get some housekeeping done. Tea Party Community, how can they get there? Give us the logistics for that.
TeaPartyCommunity.com. It's that simple.
When you go there, what do you want them to do?
Want them to register and join.
Is it hard?
Create a profile.
It's easy, and it's free.
It's free.
Just like Facebook.
Get to that thing and sign up right now.
Yes.
We need you to sign up.
And then send me a friend request.
And how do
friend
they reach
friend
you? How do they reach
Jan
you?
Morgan. I'm on the Tea Party Community Network. I have a profile just like I do on Facebook.
And where else can they find you on your website?
JanMorganMedia.com, Jan Morgan on Facebook, and I'm everywhere.
Well, everywhere all the time.
And Jan will also teach you how to fire your new AR-15.
There you go.
Sign up.
There you go. That's right. All right. Well, tomorrow, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, TrentoVision.tv, a special show. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you are here. You got to be here at 5 o'clock. Just push everything aside. Have dinner after that. But spend your intellectual and activism time with us. Because, as you were saying, Jan, these are the times that try men's souls. And there were moments in history. The what? What? Oh, Oh, all right.
I was going to ask, what time is that Central time? We have a lot of Central people on here tonight.
So you take an hour away, Ken.
Okay, just
don't ask him to give you the exact number because he doesn't know. He doesn't
4 to 6. Okay, these are the times that try and mend souls. When I try to close with no interruption, can't do it with all this crew. But we will see you tomorrow because we are getting into days, seriously, folks, that are going to try our souls. But as Jan said, we never give up. Our founders didn't. We don't. We'll see you tomorrow.
And watch for this tomorrow morning.
10 on Fox tomorrow morning.
Thanks for tuning in to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Tom Trento can be reached at 561-319-5533 or tom@trentovision.tv. And tune in again